looking right now at your LCD, you'll be seeing the most loved and favorite police commissioner of police by the Jamaican people. Yes, Wellington is the most loved commissioner of police by the Jamaican ordinary citizens, because they see him as a man who has dispensed justice from his office for the little man, and in return he was not doing justice to the police force, according to most of the police officers who have contacted me since I have, I just based on another police officer, the voice of the victims. Yes, that's a former detective of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and we want to welcome him aboard, exposing a lot of wrongs in the police force that happen. So you can go and check out his channel, the voice of the victims. And remember, Evan Blake and poetry. Yes, man. So we have other police officers coming on board and exposing the cruft them and the thief them within the police force. However, not to digress from the topic at hand. So you're going to hear a police officer who was framed by one of Wellington protege. You understand? A man, he was framed by police officers. He was arrested, even his son arrested and charged and went to the court, and he was exonerated by the court. And the court had rebuked the police department, and even the complainant and witness in the case should have been arrested and charged. Nothing happened, but it was all a conspiracy against this detective. He went back to work and everything, thought that everything was behind him. The police officer, he was at Era 1 headquarters working, and a lot of shenanigans, corruption was going on there. Being the kind of person he is, the detective reported to the commissioner of police because he knew him from training school, from Port Royal training school. So they were cadets together. And in return, instead of the commissioner of police did the right thing investigating the corrupt senior officers, he sent out his cavalry against the detective and retaliate against him. And from there, the man's life has been like a living roller coaster, hell for reporting them. So if you remember, I had spoken about Detective Sergeant Lowell. He was a detective, and he was reverted, not for doing anything. He did not collect any money from Willie Agart, and give him back give back Willie Agart gun bodyguard who have an illegal gun, give him back the gun. But those police officers, they are gazette officers now, and Llewellyn did not do anything like that, but he's still a sergeant, being punished because he's not a labor right or a PMP police. He's just a Jamaican Constabulary Force member. So I wanted to listen to this detective sergeant and what happened with him when he thought that he was being a good detective by reporting corruption that he have seen with his own eyes. You listen, you decide.
No, there's absolutely no question that Jamaica is a very corrupt place. Very, very corrupt. I absolutely believe you that all the other, most if not all the other government entities are as corrupt or even more corrupt than the JCF. But I can only speak of what I know. I'm only assuming that these other places have corrupted elements within them. And I wouldn't be surprised if it, like I said, it's more than the JCF. So the fact that I mentioned the force, and I've always said, bro, that if we were able to deal with corruption in the JCF, and bring it down to tolerable levels, we could deal with the corruption in the public service in other areas of the public service, because the police is really who prosecute persons, The police is who investigate these cases, and if the police was corrupt, the whole place have to be corrupt because they are going to fall victim to corruption too. So I always say, if we can correct, just at least correct some of the corruption in the police force and have more people that lock up people who have the money. Because police lock up some of them backside, you know, can't shoot the police lock up some of them can't pitch out by police the money, see. And just grin and bear your pain when you go. You can't do it, you know, man. Remember when I buy my first place, we used to carry sardine and water to work, you know, common water, pipe water, you know. Because one time we couldn't make drinks. Come decide to make a family in our house. You understand me? But some people just love this big life and just love to always have things and no creative and planning thing. Me also carry a little tin of sardine and crackers at work. I cook my food, wife cook my food and give me a little short pan. When I'm looking at this guy, I'm back hiding, but now I'm eat. If I know me, can't say no. This is the backside no, but as a younger man, you have a little pride, you know, and nobody say, boy, I brush something boom, and some sardine and crackers. But I host me a paper. You understand me? So me I say, I mean, how is I going to go to the police, you know, because this is my work. I mean, see it firsthand at every level in I work. Me see it about top more than I about you know. Me see it in the hierarchical structure than they do in the lower ranks. Me personally see that and know say up there was more corrupt than in the lower ranks. You with me? As a matter of fact, sometimes when they see them deal with corruption, sometimes when they hear them about, for example, Wellington, when Wellington say deal with corruption, what do you think do? A face card. Damn face card that. Because when you do, I'm telling you what you do. Him look for some police to charge, just like how him charge, tried and acquitted, and terminate the contract. Without any trial, without any court inquiry, without any order, without nothing, why just kick them out by force. And him knows him not the power to do it. As per the police service regulation of 1961, he know. So a corruption that me call him corrupt, but you know, if you do that as a police commissioner, you're damn corrupt. I mean, I'm going to put them bones to tell you, a number of the persons who were terminated, they got their work. Some couldn't afford a lawyer, so them still not get by their work and they lose them bread. Right? When I next thing I know you saw a number of members used to get them salary. You think say not deliver to that? Keep man quiet. And then you go to say, boy, I'm terminated 100 police this week, we terminate 200 last week, I'm gonna terminate some more next week. And every week you print the force orders and get it when the force orders print and sign and give it to the media. It was about him. It was about cleaning up corruption. That when he was there telling the public that he might clean up corruption like was, that in and of itself represented the ultimate corruption. You follow me? That was the mother of all corruption. So when I talk about the police force, I mean know the ins and outs of everyone. Me personally know. You understand? A number of members who were terminated were either reinstated by Carl Williams or Quayle reinstated some more. Other them fell by the wayside. You understand? Them who them want to bring back, then get them back. Them friend, them whichever friend they have out and them PMP friend, then get them back. If you're a shower man, you're not getting a blind. If you're comedy, you care back, and them a PMP. And so the thing nasty and dirty. More than likely, if JP commissioner today. Well, we don't say that because it's a man who back in and not with no corruption and no foolishness. And that is why me not call nobody corrupt unless me have the evidence. Even if my suspect is corrupt. But for any time I can call him name because I know. So me give information about corruption with two senior officers, Derek Shan and Ryland Salmon, who is the bodyguard, PJ Patterson and KD Knight. You understand? Me give information about them and tell me the contract in I believe them. Then stand there work till they told them retire to rot. So me can call that name. I'm not afraid. You can sue me.
Listening to the learned detective telling us, my loyal viewers and subscribers, the inner workings of the police force and the persons who are involved in corruption in the police force and were lauded as ethical, honest, decent, and morally inclined police officers, but were nothing but charlatans and fraud and thieves. And these people were involved in criminal activities in the police force and uses their office as a way to protect themselves, to insulate themselves from criminal charges. The police officer reported 2 senior police officers to the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Owen Ellington, and in return because he, the detective, was labeled a traitor and an informer. Now, Owen Godsert, a police officer, a detective, is witnessing corruption, criminality in the police force and reported to the person who's at the top of the police force. And instead of acting on the information, you retaliated against the police officer, then this is a criminal organization. It's not a police force. It is being led by people who are police officers with criminals' intention. And that is so sad. An informer, now you see why corruption is so rife in the police force and the Jamaican society. There are powerful people who are benefiting from the corruption financially and escaping criminal accountability because of who they know. The Commissioner of Police, Mr. Owen Wellington, protected 2 senior police officers, namely, as said by the learned detective Derek Shan and Ryland Salmon, and punished the whistleblower who thought that he was opening up the door and exposing corruption in the police force and doing an honorable thing for Jamaica. Instead, the Commissioner of Police threw him under the bus. Let me be clear here about the former Commissioner of Police, Mr. Owen Wellington. Suppose he, Mr. Wellington, was in America, the United States of America, where I am living, having been arrested and charged with fraud, which is a form of dishonesty, although he was acquitted, exonerated by the court by technicality. In that case, he could not get a job as the CEO of a security company, a security guard company in America. Once you are corrupt, then they will look after you in Jamaica and make sure you are promoted. And that is what happened in Mr. Wellington's case, based on what this police officer is saying. They look out for their corrupt friends, and they will look after and make sure that you are promoted to the top with the expectation of cleaning the force of corruption when you are leading the biggest corruption in the police force. Mr. Wellington is accused of this officer, woman police officer, who used to station in Era 1 Division, is accusing Mr. Owen Wellington of rape, trying to rape her. Yes, indecent assault, in which, yes, and I said rape, which occurred in St. Mary after a domino tournament. And to this day, she is still traumatized from the incident because the policewoman said that Owen Wellington, affectionately called OE, think that because he is brilliant, every policewoman wanted to sleep with him because they see him as a rising star in the police force. Yes, I knew of a detective by the name of Carl Morrison, and a friend of Owen Wellington, the former Commissioner of Police, who was arrested and charged with corruption for collecting over $100,000 in cash at St. Catherine South Police Station to help a man he arrested and charged with murder to be freed by the court. He, Detective Sergeant Carl Morrison, was arrested red-handed, collecting the money. He was arrested and charged, and the court freed him due to the witness not turning up for the trial. And Mr. Owen Wellington allowed him to resume until he retires. On the contrary, you have another Detective Sergeant, Dennis Arthurs, who was stationed at St. Catherine North, which is Spanish Town Police Station. He did the same thing, collected money in a murder case, and he was caught red-handed. He was kicked out of the force by Mr. Owen Wellington, which showed that connection is everything in Jamaica, in the police force. So one man get kicked out for committing a crime. He was acquitted by the court, and the other was reinstated and allowed to retire from the police force. So it's just that friends in high place, and this is who you know. I am going to tell you I have 3 reasons why Mr. Wellington was fired as the Commissioner of Police. I am not going to tell you that he is the most corrupt police commissioner ever. I will delve in that later. 1, the reason why he was fired, and it was because before he was appointed as Commissioner of Police, the United States ambassador in Jamaica, the US Embassy, they did not support the appointment of Mr. Wellington because they said that he was a corrupt police officer. I don't know if you guys had seen the WikiLeaks documents or anything like that that shows that. Because they have known it from the extradition of Liebert Ramcharan. So let me tell you now, his relationship with Liebert Ramcharan, that's the man designated by former President George W. Bush as a drug kingpin because of his interference in the JLP leadership between the late Edward Seaga and Bruce Golding. So that is one of the reasons why he was fired, Wellington, because of his relationship with Liebert Ramcharan. And I'll tell you later about that relationship. His brother, former detective Schoolboy Richie, most of you know his correct name, so I don't have even because he's in prison in the United States. 3 is response to the anti-gay march at 3:30 by the church. I will give you guys the relevant information at a later date and time. Thanks for watching the Jamaica Young Police channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel as yet, please consider subscribing. Click the bell and select all so that whenever we release a video here at the Jamaica Young Police channel, you are the first person to get a notification. Like the video so that others can see it. Share the video. And most of all, comment. There's a link in the group, a WhatsApp link for the group, for members of the group to join the WhatsApp group so you can communicate with others. My advice to you, if you're about to do that, remove your profile photograph and do not use your current name. Use an alias because the group is not screened and it's not a paid group. It's not. Yeah, so as you have heard, the group is not a paid group. It's free. You understand? So if you want to communicate with others from the group, having discussing what's affecting Jamaica and how, as a people, what we can do, what our role to make things better, that is welcome. And if you need to communicate with me privately about anything that crime related in Jamaica, any information about any guns or wanted men, just hit me up. You understand? Cause we believe in chart them out, not walk them out. We believe in preemptive strikes, which is good because preemptive strikes save lives. Have a beautiful day. Jamaica Young Police out.